there, ref. That's he got the ball. Good morning, Spurs fans worldwide, and welcome back to the Irish Hotspur with your boy Dave, Dermot, and Drew today, bringing you your pre-match build-up for the FA Cup third round against TAMWORTH. Hopefully a bit more of a relaxed environment, relaxed atmosphere today. You know, I know some people are predicting a cup upset, giant killing. We'll get on to that in a minute. Personally, I don't see it. But look, let's wait and see what happens. We'll check in with the guests, then we'll check in with give everybody everything they need to know, check in with the chat, and then we will crack on. Dermot, how are you feeling? I know you get delirious around the FA Cup.
Oh, yeah, it's our year. We're on our way to Wembley. The double is on. The cup double is on. After we beat Liverpool and reached the League Cup final, we're reaching the FA Cup final, and it's absolutely criminal. We haven't won an FA Cup since 1991. I was a teenager. There's people in the chat, Dave, that subscribe to your channel. One even a twinkle in their dad's eye the last time we won an FA Cup, and that is criminal. But I tell you one thing, Dave, a little stat for you. We have played non-league sides 14 times, 9 wins, 3 draws, 2 defeats. We have scored 50 goals against non-league sides and only conceded 6. And our best result was a 9-0 against Workshop Town in 1923. After we drew 0-0 in the first game, in the replay, we won 9-0, and it was home advantage. We played them both at Whitehall Lane, and Workshop Town sold home advantage for them. So they're a little stat for you. That's our best ever win against a non-league side.
Love it, love it. And Darmo, just quickly, Paddy Harnett is saying, I forgot to ask third, did you get your tickets, buddy?
I did, yeah. I got my ticket for the Man City game. I'm paying for it on Tuesday, and I can't wait. I'm looking forward to guys. It's the Christmas, it's a birthday, late birthday present for my missus in February, so I'm 48 next month. So that's my treat for February, and then I'm over in maybe you lads.
Come on, I can't wait for that. That'd be a good trip. That would be a good trip. Drew, how are you keeping this morning, my man? I mean, guys, this guy's incredible. I keep texting him saying, Drew, it's an early start. Completely up to you. Feel free to say no. Keeps going, Dave, don't be silly. I'm here. It's 4 a.m. for this guy. Absolutely insane. Drew, how are you, my man?
I'm doing all right, mate. Magic of the Cup. It's my favourite time of the week. And I'm hoping that today we can abolish my PTSD memories of Daniel Amokachi and Everton and me breaking a couple of toes kicking a radiator way back in the day. So that's still burned in my memory. I'm still trying to forget it.
The FA Cup still hold the same sort of, passion
for
you, I would say.
I think it must be my age, because I really does. It's one of those ones when the weekends start in the new year and it's the FA Cup day. I do get a little I think it's something to do with me old man as well. I get the old butterflies in the stomach, and I just remember people walking up Wembley Way and just seeing the pictures, because back in the day it used to be from 9 a.m. when it used to wake up, and it used to be an all-day affair. So it's kind of lost some of its sparkle, but not for me, mate. Loving it.
Do you know what, lad? I think for a while there, the domestic cups were losing their sparkle, but I think people are back on them now. I think they understand it's a trophy at the end of the day. You can't pick and choose what you win. You got to go for them. So I do think, maybe the allure of the domestic trophies are coming back to a certain degree, which is good to see. Let's give everybody everything they need to know, and then let's crack on. So, of course, we are playing at the Lamb Ground, so get the mint sauce, get the applesauce out, and get it ready. Believe it or not, I actually think Daniel Levy's been served up pie and chips today, so that'll be very interesting if he ends up going to see how he takes to some pie and chips. It's completely different to his usual caviar and lobster and all that sort of jazz. Kickoff is at 12:30 today. Referee is Peter Banks. Well, guys, hopefully we don't have to change that B to a W. And then, of course, if you want to watch the game, it is on ITV in the UK. In Ireland, it is on Premier Sports. In the USA, it's on ESPN Plus, and in Australia, it is on Optus Sports. And of course, look, there was one injury for TAMWORTH. No one even knows who he is, so I didn't bother. But we've got Vicario. He is back in training, but still not available. Van de Ven, Romero, Davies, Destiny Udogie, Uda Burt, Richarlison, and of course now Bentancur added to that list. So that's everything that everybody needs to know in terms of team news. Let's welcome some people in, and then let's crack on. Big up Terry Betts. Is it on or is it off? Well, I presume it's on. I haven't seen that about it being off. Maybe I'm delusional. I don't know. But big up Terry. We have, I do know that they had a lot of their fans. They called out for the fans yesterday, didn't they, to get down to the ground and help get it ready and stuff like that. So let's wait and see. We have Limpy Down Under. I hope the FBI isn't here because I want to watch 18-year-olds play. We have Shem Tam, Morning, Jack, Dave, and Dermot, and Soren. No Soren today, actually. Soren's at a whiskey event today, so he is. Whoever else is awake on the panel, hope all are well. Come on, you Spurs. Big up, Shem Tam. We have this from Dark Sung G. Good to see you, Dark Sung G. Hopefully you're keeping well. Says, come on, you Spurs. Let's enjoy the match today. I hope more Lancashire and Yang starts today. Also, I love how as soon as Kinski had a great debut, Vic returns to training. Look, I definitely think you probably see 2 of the 3 start. I'm not sure we'll see all 3 start, even though I do think Spurs fans want all 3 to start. I'm just not sure he will go with such a youthful forward line in general of Yang one side, more the other, and Lancashire up top. I think you might see one experienced player out there, whether that's Johnson or Werner, with the other 2 accompanied around that. But guys, how great was it to see Vic, stepping up his recovery very, very quickly off the back of Kinski's performance? Sometimes you just need that, right? You need the challenge laid down.
Yeah. I mean, I think he saw that the other night. He thought, shit, I better get my act together. I better get back into training. I think he's pushing himself because he knows he's in a fight for his spot. And it's great. And I love our new keeper. I think he's absolutely fantastic. I love his attitude. I love the way he goes about. And it's great. We've got 2 good keepers now. That's all we've ever wanted. So, yeah, may it long continue.
Drew?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I watched the replay of the Liverpool game and was pretty impressed with him, the rusty keeper that we've got. So, yeah, man, really looking forward to it. And I think it's really nice. I think it's a little bit different to the situation with them up the road in that although Kinski really is coming in to push, I don't think there's going to be the issues that you maybe have with having 2 number 1s. Like, I think he's fully aware of his situation, right? So I think it's some very, very healthy competition for the first time in a while.
Well, no, that's actually a question I had for today. We'll touch on it now. Why do you say we won't end up in the same situation as Arsenal? Because when you look at Arsenal, right, it dominated the headlines. It was the talking point. It was almost such a huge distraction of what was going on. Why do you think Tottenham are able to avoid it, or why do you think it might not get the same attention?
I feel like the issue is with that lot was that they were 2 already established number 1s. Whereas I think in this instance, and I know Kinski's a number 1, but he's not an established number 1 in the Premier League. So I think that you at least need to, and I think you can kind of tell that about him, like the respect that he's got for Vicario, the things that he said in the press, in the interviews. It just makes me think that, he holds himself very well. Sounds like he's got absolute bags of confidence. But I don't know. I just get the sense that he's aware of the situation. And this could show, 18 months from now, he could absolutely just tear it up. And we could be, talking about having potentially an issue. But it can only be a good one at that point. But I think for right now, I just think the kid's come in. I think he realizes where he's at. And I don't know. I just get the sense that he's just very, very eager to learn. Look, what do I know? I could be pissing in the wind. But
look, we'll ask Dermot. Do you agree with Drew's assertion there that because Kinski's a certain age, if Vicario's at the other end of sort of the 20s, that we might avoid this situation? Because I'm a bit hesitant. I think with the foundations that Kinski laid down against Liverpool, he's probably going to get a run in the side now until Vicario gets back. If he does end up in the goal for the rest of the season ahead of Vicario, do you think then that situation changes a little and that we do start getting that scrutiny, or does it come down to actually the players themselves kicking up? Because if you remember, Ramsdale had a lot to say. His family had a lot to say about the situation, and that probably stoked the tensions a little bit.
I think Arteta didn't help himself either by saying what he was saying. I think Ange is a bit more cleverer than that. I think Ange would have used the situation very quickly if he sees it. He would say to the keepers, right, these are your amount of games you're playing in. This is the amount of games you're playing in. We're going to work together. We're going to work as a team. With Ramsdale and the Brentford keeper that came in, Arteta didn't do that. He just let them fight it out. And then you had Ramsdale's family coming in, chipping in with words. They were saying, I think he didn't handle the situation properly. And I think it ended up boiling over. I think at Tottenham, Ange will handle the situation. Their players will know what they're playing in and what they're not playing in. And then if the situation comes in 18 months' time that one's do better than the other, he'll turn around and say, right, you're my number one, you're my number two, get on with it. And I think that's what I do. But I think Arteta does have to take responsibility for the situation that turned out, because he didn't handle it well at all.
Fair. No, absolutely fair. Absolutely fair. And Dark Song G also follows up, says if it recovers ahead of schedule, please play Europa. Look, I think that is the good thing about having sort of both goalkeepers, that they could both play out with their feet. They both seem to be, especially in Vicario's case, a really good shot stopper. So I think it'll be a good battle. And I think whatever competition we go in, we shouldn't see what we've seen with Fraser Forster in the last few weeks, sort of a massive decline. Don't get me wrong. It's a difficult situation for him being thrown in, but it has been a decline in abilities for sure. One thing I noticed was, that maybe I didn't take into account when Fraser was in goals, was Kinski coming off his line, almost playing as that sweeper keeper role. Fraser Forster was very hesitant, very stuck on his line, and it almost invited a lot of the pressure in behind. So big up that, Sung G. Good to see you, and hopefully your dad's okay. I know you've been rubbing in that Liverpool victory on him, so keep it going, Dax. G. Good to see you, my man. Let's keep cracking on. Welcome some people
Dave,
in, and then we'll crack on. Yeah?
Can I ask you a quick question just before we go on? The keeper situation, are we allowed to... I saw that video that you did where you were talking about the European squad and whether...
Yeah.
Are we allowed to swap Werner out for Kinski and... Like you said, I think you said swap Werner out for Kinski and then you put Spence in for one of the keepers that's on the bench already. Is that right?
Yeah, so the reason why is Alfie Whiteman and Brandon Austin come with the homegrown tag. They have to stay in the squad so that we can meet that homegrown quota. If we don't and we take them out, then theoretically you have to register a squad with less numbers of players in it if you're going to do that. So with that, then it means Fraser Forrester over Carrier are on the chopping block. But with Kinski, you have to take out a foreign player and bring Kinski in. So which means you can't take out any of the goalkeepers. That's why I said Werner, because for me, he contributes the least and I think you get away with it. But then we also need a fullback. So that's why I said, well, if you're bringing Kinski in, you've still got your 4 goalkeepers. So you've got 5 goalkeepers then. So one of them's going to have to come out. And I think with Fraser, because he also has the English tag, you can take him out, bring Jed Spence in, and then that keeps your numbers without actually having to sort of redo all the whole squad, if you know what I mean.
All right, perfect, lovely.
So yeah, that was the thinking behind it. So look, let's wait and see whether it happens or not.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Big up, Looper. Dragon these nuts. Good to see you. Evening. Any chance we see a midfield of Bergval, Gray, and Sarsprila today? Look, I would think James Maddison will come straight back in. He seems to be riding the bench most of the season. I think James Maddison comes back in. We'll get into the midfield for sure. Because look, I would like to see Gray in the number 6. I'm just not sure. But then again, I also want to rest him for North London Derby. The 2 Marks talk Tottenham. Great name. Just big up, lads. Hope you're well. Big up the 2 Marks. Hopefully you're keeping well. We also have Vandal Ross. Morning, lads. Good to see you, Vandal. Hopefully you're keeping well. We also have Luke Thompson. Great to see you. Ribsy, a.k.a. Ribeye. Good to see you, my man, down under. Hopefully you're keeping well. Ribsy, great to see you, sir. We also have Jimmy Hotspur. Great to see you. Morning, everyone. It's game day. That it is. We have Gulab. Hopefully a good performance today. Look, I think we're all tuning in, wanted to see goals today, right? Paddy Harness says, morning, you all. Morning, you wonderful people. A big win needed today to build us up for Wednesday, but it won't be an easy win either, as it's the cup and Tamworth will be up for it. Up the Strawberry Pickers. Good to see you, Paddy Harnett. Look, they're definitely going to be up for it. The underdog, they can almost smell it in the fresh, crisp air this morning. Jack Bloom, good to see you. Hopefully you're keeping well, my man. We also have Luke Moody, good morning, lads. I'm confident and hopeful today. Come on, you Spurs. I think everyone's confident and hopeful. Shame it's taken a long league club for us to get this confident and hopeful now. But look, you got to start somewhere. Spurs GCTV, as always, great to see you. Hopefully you're keeping well. Good morning, gents. Let's go. We also have Daniel Larson. Come on, you Spurs. Some Tamworth tears would be a lovely Sunday. Big up, Daniel. We have Looper Call says, morning, lads. Let's get a good win today and rest up for the scum. Come on, you MFing Spurs. Luke Thompson says, can we ask Levy to vlog the game and give us a pie and chips review? I mean, look, that'd be absolutely brilliant, lad. I watched an interview they done with Sun Sport, a video that was up on YouTube, and, they're bringing in a catering company, and he said, what are they cooking? He was like, pie and chips, so it's like they either like it or they don't, it's none of this fancy stuff. We also have Boise 218. Tamworth would beat us today, make history. It's just who we are, mate. I wouldn't be able to take that. I'd go hiding for ages. SDSC Benny, come on, you Spurs. Dan Rogers, come on, you Spurs. DJ Samuel, great to see you as always. Hopefully you're keeping well. He's gone for the full English breakfast to celebrate today. You're dead right, lad. We also have Donovan Oosterreicher. Good to see you. Kinski, Vicario, Steel, Sharpen, Steel. Joe, I absolutely love that quote. That's a brilliant quote, Donovan, my man. Good to see you in the building, sir. Hopefully the football's going well. David Granola says, big up, gents. Good to see you, my man. Hopefully you're keeping well. We take a couple more and then we will crack on, guys. And we've got George Cosmin, where I can see the game on my phone. I don't know. I think just if you can, just try and get one of them sites, my man. We've got Jay Mead says, as I said Wednesday evening, what other club is exciting to support as our beloved Spurs? A roller coaster ride every game, Straff and Joe. Do you know what, Joe? I just think some of us wish it would be a little bit easier at times. You know, it feels like we always have to go through the swamp to try and come out the other side. And, you know, in the swamp, you've got the weeds, you know, everything else, the muck, trying to stop from coming out the other side, Jay. We have Timothy Whitaker. Good to see you. Future's bright, future lily white. It's on ITV. That it is, my man. Great to see you in the house. We also have Kulu's elusive right foot. Great name. He says, good morning, gents, on the panel and chat. I hope all is well. We have Al Dante in the house. Morning, guys. Morning, all. Hope everyone is well and enjoying a good evening. We also have Mr. Fraser in the house. Great to see you, Stevie. Hopefully you're keeping well, my man. Let me make sure I'm not missing anyone. Timothy Whitaker. Sean Curran. Kinski used to be a midfielder when he was younger. Father raised goalkeeper abilities were gone and made him play in midfield. No, absolutely spot on. Fair play, my man. That's absolutely brilliant piece of knowledge. You can see it with how good he is with both feet, though, as well, to be fair. You know, that he's definitely played outfield at some point. We also have Paolo in the house. Great to see you, Paolo. Hopefully you're keeping well. We also have Are we sure game will be cancelled? Look, we'll wait and see. Let's wait and see. I think someone will go and check that now. Darmo, you go and check that. Make sure it's not cancelled. Q7, good to see you. Hopefully you're keeping well. We have Massametti. We also have Caliphate. Great name, by the way. Chris O'Riordan, good to see you. Sebastian, the Prime. Great to see you. Michael W. as well. Hopefully you're keeping well. Then we also have Ozitz, Lee Neri as well, and Andrew. Great to see all of you guys. Hopefully you're keeping well. We have this from Wembley 1. He says, morning, guys. Tamworth have shipped a lot of goals in certain non-league games this season, so we must stay on the front foot against them. Do you know what, Wembley? I was saying this in my pre-match build-up. I think in years gone by, when you've got defensive managers, you still sort of approach these games from a defensive standpoint, and all you actually do is give the opposition belief. You know, and the longer they stay in the game, you give them belief. For me, I think with the way we play, the way we go and press opposition, the way we look to keep them bending their half, I think some games like this actually suit in our favour. You know, go and try and get at them nice and early, score a couple of goals and make it a very easy tie for yourself. But I do think with the way we play, you know, we should be looking to get at them on the front foot nice and early. Wembley, did you make the travel down the M40? Let me know, my man. Big up Wembley 1. Good to see you. But I definitely think with the way Postecoglou plays, we'll see maybe a different approach than what we've seen in years gone by. Guys, would any of you agree with that? Or are you maybe concerned a little?
Sorry, I was looking at the game's still on, by the way.
Oh, good. No, but would you agree with what you know what I'm saying there about with Postecoglou compared to other managers in years gone by, like the defensive sort of managers, that you should see Tottenham on the front foot today going for it?
Yeah, we should do. It's the way, it's who we are, as he always says, and I hate people saying it, but it is who we are, mate. We will be on the front foot today, and we should score a lot of goals. 13-2 as our record against Crewe in an FA Cup game. Can we beat that today? You never know. You never know.
I think them days are long gone there, man. I think they're long gone. But look, you know, if we could, I'd definitely take it. Darkstone G says the difference between Gooners' goalkeeper situation and ours is the age difference. Our goalkeepers are 7 years apart, while there's only one, which is huge in sports. I mean, Drew, that's sort of the point that you were probably alluding to, right? The age gap, and that's why you don't think you will see, you know, the same Arsenal situation. Oh, you're on mute, Drew.
Yeah, 7 years apart. I think that's going to make a big difference. So fingers crossed. I think we got two awesome ones on our hands.
Well, Brandon Austin's probably thrown into the mix. Probably three keepers scraping for first-team football at this moment in time. But you know what? I think it is a fair point. I think it is a great point. I suppose when you've got Ramsdale and David Raya, they're both established number ones, you know, both competing, whereas Kinski is coming in from the Czech league, you know, looking to compete. I suppose it is a good point, both at different ends of the 20s. Look, let's wait and see, Dark Sungji. Let's wait and see what happens down the road, but I think you and Drew make a good assertion there. He also says this was an upset already, where Plymouth won. Yeah, Plymouth knocked out Brentford yesterday, which was great to see. I think they won 1-0, didn't they? And then you've got Arsenal United today, so one of them will be gone as well. And I was saying to boys last night, I hope that Liverpool get Chelsea in the next round as well. You know, that'd be absolutely brilliant. Yeah. Hopefully a lot of Premier League teams, because usually it's us that gets Premier League teams. Hopefully they can all start getting each other and take each other out for a start. So, G, really appreciate support, my man. Absolute top man. And then we also have David Shire, member for 16 months. Good day, Dave, Jack, and Jack. Come on, you Spurs. Davey, good to see you, my man. How's your Christmas? How's your New Year been? Please let me know in the chat. Really appreciate the support, my man. Absolute legend. And then Dark Sun G says, I also mean Tree, age gap-wise. So he's talking about Brandon Austin as well. No, absolutely fair point, my man. Absolutely fair point. Look, with Brandon Austin, I think he's just going to have to sort of be happy being number 3, going out there, doing extra shooting practice for the likes of Yang, Mikey Moore, people like that want to develop, and then just sit there and wait for his opportunity. But Kinski will start today. Postecoglou did say that in his pre-match press conference. But guys, big up. Really appreciate support. Fair play to every single one of you, and big up Foggy Foam, as always. Good to see you. He says, everyone, 3 cup competition. Surely we have our foot in at least 1 cup victory this season. Come on, you Spurs. Well, look, you never know. But look, that's what I've been saying all along. You know, I think you got to come out the end of January and see where we are before you make any decision on the manager, you know, because we could very easily salvage the second half of the season. And you would like to think the fact that you are in 3 cups still, sort of, you know, the odds are on your side, right, Foggy Foam? So hopefully we could get there. Big up Daniel Sandoval as well. Great to see you, my man. But guys, let's start off with the obvious question today. You know, I've watched a lot of media coverage around this game. They're all weird. They're all trying to build it up as a giant killing could take place today at lunchtime. And the reason why is because Tamworth come into this game, of course, as underdogs. They'll be highly motivated. Many look at the Lamb ground and think that, you know, it'll play a factor in terms of Tottenham are used to the luxuries and all that sort of stuff. And to be fair, Tamworth have knocked out League One teams along the way. Like I said, many in the media believe this is the perfect recipe for another FA Cup upset. Should Spurs be worried about the magic of the FA Cup and the possibility of another giant killing on the cards? We'll start with you, Drew, and I'll come back to you, Darryl, because I did watch your channel predictions.
To be honest with you, do you know what? I just hope we've got too much. Like even with the kids playing, we should have too much. Like we're a Premier League football team going to a team that what 7 or 8 runs below us. So I'm looking at. I mean, it shouldn't matter if the pitch. I don't know. It shouldn't matter if the pitch is made of spaghetti. We should be going out there thinking that we, you know. I remember back in 1991, this was our cup. We were the team that had won it the most out of everybody, and we've kind of been left to the wayside. And I just really hope we go with that sort of mentality, you know, thinking that it's our cup to lose, and we go there, don't take them for granted, get a couple of goals real quick and make it easy on us.
100%. I think this game is all about going at them nice and early, don't allow them to settle, don't allow them to get comfortable. Darmo, you worried about an FA Cup giant killing? Because do you know what's hurt me? I see all the media building it up to be this. You know, I see Tottenham fans as well, you know, worried about, and I can understand it from a Tottenham point of view. Like, you know, when you have the likes of Ennis Moore and games like that happen, I understand it, right? But it just seems like if we can't go into this game with confidence, I mean, what are we doing?
You've got to respect your opponents. I think I don't care who they are.
Non-league.
Yeah, but Dave, you've got to. You can't just turn up there, right, and say and not respect your opponent. You've got to respect your opponent, though they are non-league. Though we will roll them over. Though we are going to beat them 6-7-0. Do you know what I mean? You still got to respect your opponents. It is the FA Cup at the end of the day. No game is a given. You could go there. Look at Brentford yesterday. Did they expect to lose to Plymouth? Sack Wayne Rooney during the week. What to do? Plymouth turn out and do a worldie on them. Brentford are a Premier League club. So look, it has happened before. Non-league sides have knocked out league sides. We've lost to low sides before over the years in the FA Cup. It's happened before. It will happen again, but it's not going to happen today. But you've got to turn up and sort of show them some respect. Do you know what I mean? It's a natural turf pitch. It's going to be an old style ground. You're going to have a really tight changing room. You're going to have something that they're not used to. And it might put some players on edge. It might some players are not used to that. But it is the FA Cup, and that's why we love the FA Cup, because we get these matches. You know, where else in the world do you get a non-league side playing the Premier League side? Only in the FA Cup. So I think it's the magic of it. I think it's just third round day, isn't it? And we will win, but I think also you do got to show them a little bit of respect as well. And they've done well to get where they've got so far. By the way.
No, look, they have. But for me, you earn respect. I remember we had similar conversations heading into the Carabao game, and I was outraged by the respect people were showing, and we ended up beating them with 10 men. You know, so it shows that they weren't that good on the day. For me, you earn respect. Don't get me wrong, nothing against Tamworth. You know, fair play to a magical FA Cup journey. But if we're walking up there respecting them, it just shows how low confidence we have in this football club. You know what I mean? We should be walking up there like City did against Salford yesterday. Grand, how many do we want today, boys? 6, 7, 8? You know what I mean? If we walk up there nervous today and show them respect, I'm sorry, I don't understand what we're trying to achieve here, you know? The best teams, they rock up to places with a lot of arrogance. So for me, look, I'm not worried about an FA Cup giant killing whatsoever today. I think if you were talking about a League One team, top of the League One, maybe it might be a little bit different. But non-league, we should be beating them for sure. And look, of course, they play on the 3G pitch. It's a bit of a leveler. You know, it's a bit of a different game. The ball sort of skids off it if it's wet. You know, it's a lot of the ball travels a lot faster. And also, you can get more prone to injuries with your studs getting caught in the asteroids. You got to turn and stuff like that. So there will be a risk of injuries today. Let's wait and see what happens. Like we've already spoke about, you know, it's very important that we get after them nice and early, assert our dominance nice and early. Last thing we want to do is allow them to build up any confidence whatsoever. So look to get at them early and go and score a few goals, but it does come down to the right attitude. If we do have senior players out there, I don't want to see them in years gone by rock up and go, hang on, I don't want to play this game. This isn't the bright lights of the Premier League, Europe. You know, this ain't for me. And then go out there and put in a shit show of a performance. You know, I want to see them at it. I don't want to see Madison out there going through the motions today. He's been riding the bench most of the season. Go out there and prove a point today. Let's wait and see what happens. But guys, Tamworth do pose a massive threat from throw-ins. Tom Tonks is his name. He has a phenomenal long throw. They view these throws as more dangerous than corners because they're able to loop or drive the ball in, aiming for the 6-foot-plus players who want to go and head that ball. And I believe they've got 5 or 6 of them in there as well. So my question is, how do Tottenham combat this? Because we've seen it with Rory Delap with Stoke all them years ago and how difficult and the problems that it does cause. And the fact that they see them more beneficial than corners shows to me they obviously get an awful lot of joy off it as well. So how do we combat this? Should we man mark? Should we go zonal marking? Or should the goalkeeper be instructed to come out and claim or punch that ball away?
I think you have to man mark. That's my opinion. And let the keeper come out and let the keeper also come out and catch and punch. But I think you got a man mark. I hate this zonal marking lark. It's just ridiculous. You get your man, you have your man, you mark him, and that's it. Job done. This zonal marking is a load of shit. Sorry, I don't agree with it at all. Don't think it's the right way to defend at corners or anything like that. And maybe I'm old-fashioned, but for me, it's you go man for man, and that's it.
Honestly, zonal marking feels like it's a 2025 thing, you know, where it's like, you know, no one can take responsibility for their own actions. So, you know, everyone has to take up zones and all so that you can't lay accountability at anybody's door. It's absolutely bollocks. Scrap it, go man marking. You're responsible for your guy. And guess what? If he gets loose and goes and wins that ball, you will hear about it, whether you like it or not. It's that simple. You know, this whole zonal marking, it's almost this 2025 modern era shit where no one can take accountability, peace, love, and all this bollocks. You know what I mean? So for me, you know, just get back to man marking, old school. It's a lot better. Big up, Polly. Good to see you, side dancer, Paul G. Hopefully you're all keeping well, guys. Where are we at? Drew, did you want to say it on that? On the long throw-ins? Right?
No,
like
no, I think we're all in agreement, man. You scrap the zonal marking. It's terrible. Standing jump. You're never going to beat a standing jump against a running jump. I'm sick of it. I've had enough. And honestly, again, just goes back to just levels, right? There's levels to it. I don't want to see any of our defenders being caught out by some loop throw from Tommy Tanker or whatever his bloody name is. Like, we should be going into a game like this with zero concerns, man. This is just, it's so nice. Do you know, this is the first time in a few weeks I'm just sitting here. I got my feet up, just relaxing. Do you know, come on, lads, it's Tamworth.
Do you know what? I've been the same.
Me.
No, it's been the same. You know, I've sort of been like, it's nice just to have a few days off from the pressures of, you know, the semi-final of the cup or the league and all. It's just nice to be able to sit here for a few days, relax, get a bit giddy, get a bit goofy, not really have that pressure. But Dermo, you say that is a problem for you.
It's not. I'm just a bit worried that you two are so relaxed. I've seen this so many times before in my life sport in Tottenham that we've gone away to a side lower than us and we've fucked it up completely. 88 comes to mind. 89 comes to mind as well. We nearly lost to Blackpool in 91. We only beat them 1-0. It worries me that Drew's relaxed with his feet up and he's not his usual thing. I'm not used to seeing Drew like this. I'm used to seeing Drew more cautious and more up for it. And I'm thinking, shit, I hope Tottenham don't fuck it up for him today.
Let's wait and see what happens. Andre 890 says we just need to be up for the battle. They will try and bully us, but we need to just show the skill and outstrength. And that's it. Look, of course they're going to be up for the battle. I think, you know, that's got to be expected. You know, they're the underdogs. They're going to fancy themselves. But, you know, if we can put a couple of early goals by these, like Man City did to Salford yesterday, later on in the game, they're going to be absolutely, you know, so tired they can barely move. And that's where the game will open up a lot more for us. So, you know, it's just about running the legs off them, you know, physical battles and take it from there. And we have Mark Pritchard. Good to see you, Marky. Hopefully you're keeping well. He says, come on, you Spurs. Bergwall had a great game again. Plus, Jed is playing better in more games. Up the Spurs. Look, Jed Spence has been absolutely phenomenal. I think Shawnee Butler calls him Jedley King. You know, I think Spence has been spectacular. Spence-tacular. He's been brilliant. I've always backed Jed Spence. You know, I've always thought there was a player in there. And it's good to see that's finally been shown on the pitch. Peter Kagais, great to see you. As always, my man. Yeah, it's a nice PM kickoff for you guys over there. Nice and different for you. Absolutely love it. Joff says, Dave, you're scared. You're scaring us, Drew. No. You're allowed to get laid back for these sort of games. We have Kate Ricks and Dave. I never feel confident when this team defense troubles. I'd like a clean sheet today. No, look, I can get it, right? We've been beaten up by Tottenham down the years. You know, you can never really have too much confidence going into a game, but it's non-league opposition. You know, this is my problem. Like, you know, if it was like an Arsenal or a Chelsea, I can understand. But, you know, we show these teams way too much respect. And for me, I do think it speaks or alludes to maybe a bit of a fragile mentality. And honestly, if we believe that this could happen today, then I don't want to hear anyone cry on why the likes of Tamworth and that belief today, you know, because, you know, I feel like you're almost giving them belief to a certain degree. Look, I understand it, but it's non-league. We got to start trying to get a bit more of a steely mentality. You think Man City, Liverpool, any of them clubs would rock up here worried of an upset? No, they're all sitting there, guys. You know, let's have a bet on how many we're going to score today. Who's going to score them? You know what I mean? It's almost like a day out. It's almost like going to watch their sons play football to a certain degree. And I wouldn't mind getting to that sort of relaxed atmosphere for these sort of games. But I do understand what you're saying, Kate. Good to see you. And then we also have Brecken in the house. Great to see you, Brecken. Hopefully you're keeping well, my man. Guys, just before we get into maybe, you know, in terms of lineup and stuff like that, I want to have a conversation around just quickly. You know, today's game does mark the start of a 4-run consecutive away fixtures on the bounce. How valuable is this stretch as an opportunity to rally the fans, get them back on side, you know, and regain their support for the team and manager. Because although the Liverpool result went a little bit away, there's still people that are like, you know what, I still don't trust this team, still don't trust Postecoglou. You know, but we've got 4 away games. We've got the North London Derby, of course, we have today. I think we've got, is it Everton away? And then there's another one in there, I think European game as well. How important is it for us to go on a run on these 4 games? Guys, I'm just going to go to the toilet. Be back 1 sec.
Yeah, it is very important. And I think it's important to show the away fans and give them a little bit of something, because we haven't been great away from home. And the away fans have been left a little bit disgruntled by what they've seen. So look, it's important that we go on Wednesday, especially Wednesday, that we get something out of that game. We cannot lose against them lot. We cannot lose against them lot. I'm sorry. I refuse to be. They're not even a proper North London side. They're a South London. They built a stadium next to a sewer, and that's why they moved to North London. I mean, please tell me any club that builds their stadium next to an open sewer. To me, it shows that they're badly run anyway. They've got a manager that likes to cry all the time. So we've got, please don't let me down on Wednesday. We don't want to get anything less than a draw there. But it is, isn't it, Drew? I think now, I don't know what you feel, but I feel now that whatever Ange does and whatever Ange says, if you ain't behind him, you ain't going to be behind him now, are you? It doesn't matter what he does.
Yeah, I can see what you mean for sure. I feel like the atmosphere since the Liverpool game has been a little different. I mean, obviously being over here, I'm kind of out the picture, so I'm just going by what I can sort of see on social media. But I do feel like it was a bit of a turning point. And I hope that people are sort of starting to realise or starting to come around to the fact that we are or have been kind of on our knees, bare bones, and we're still managing to kind of drag ourselves over the line. The players are still playing for Ange. You know, I'm not going to go down that road too much again. Yeah, it is what it is, mate. I mean, if you don't like him now, you're never going to. But I can't let those people distract me from, you know, what I think we're doing. So this run of games that we've got coming up, like you said, we've got the 5th on the 15th, we've got Arsenal away, 19th Everton away, 23rd Hoffenheim away, and then the 26th at home to Leicester. Mate, if we can, the Hoffenheim game, I'm really hoping we can get something from. But these next 3 league games, yeah, I mean, the 3 league games. I mean, if we could get 7 points,
yeah,
I'd be a happy man. You know, if we can go and get something from them lot down the road and win at Everton, because I know Moyes has come back in. I don't know. Is there going to be a new manager bounce with an old manager? I don't know. And then Leicester at home, you would think that that's got to be 3 points, especially being as we drop points away. So yeah, that's going to hopefully, you know, if we can get 7 points, and then maybe the couple of teams above us drop a couple of points. I know everyone was singing Bournemouth's praises, and you know, fair play, but now they've lost a second striker in a week, so they may start sort of falling down the table a little bit. And I know, you know, as a Tottenham supporter, it's not ideal that you're looking up and hoping Bournemouth drop points so that you can get further up, but it is what it is.
Well, look, we've dropped points because of injuries, Drew. You know what I mean? So it's okay. We've dropped points because of injuries. You know what I mean? So it's okay to want other teams to get injuries and drop points.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough, mate. That's fair enough. But yeah, we were just chatting about these next 5: the Arsenal away, Everton away, Hoffenheim away, Leicester at home, and then Elfsborg at home. So yeah, it's a tough stretch. But I was saying to Dermo, if we can get 7 points in the next 3 league games and win at Hoffenheim, I'd be a very, very happy camper.
And of course, progress today. And of course, progress today as well. Look, I just think, you know, it's a golden opportunity. You progress today, you're still in the 2 cup competitions. If you could take a point away to Arsenal, I think many fans, you know, no one's really expecting us to go there. I'm used to losing there, going there over the years, you know. So if we could take a point there, I think, you know, many fans go, hang on, are we back on track? If you could double down against Leicester and Hoffenheim, I think then you give plenty of people, you know, and Leicester, I think you give plenty of people things to think about because your league form is starting to improve. You're starting to climb the league table, and you're still in all 3 cup competitions. So I think, and look, to be fair, I think that's just what many fans want, and I do think you'll get many fans maybe if Postecoglou can have a good January, reassess their situation and go, do you know what? I'm going to shut up. Let's just see where this takes us, for a month or two. I actually do think they can regain a lot of support over this month. All of our cup games are in this month. A couple of good, tasty league games. We can really change the course of our season and really kick on and give us something to believe in for the second half of this campaign. And you would hope with injuries coming back, there's the opportunity to do so. But sorry, Dharma, I'll cut across you. How rude of me.
I know you, Grant. It's your show, Dove. You can cut across me anytime you like. I've done it enough
Doesn't
to
mean
you
I
over
can be a rude idiot, though. Go on there.
I don't know. I've done it enough to you, so you can do it to me. It's friendly banter. That's what it is. But no, the only one that worries me is the Hoffenheim game. That worries me. That's the only one that really gives me a little bit. We
left
to win
ourselves
there.
in a tricky position there, haven't we?
Yeah,
Having to go to Hoffenheim away and win.
We have, and that worries me. But look, as you say, we've got players coming back. Second half of season. I think, honestly, myself, I think other teams are now going to start to suffer, and we're not. They're going to get their injury crisis. They're going to get their injury players. And also, we're going to buy players in the January transfer window. I hope we get more than one in. And then we've got the returning players as well. I think we're in for a good second half of the season. I think a lot of people that wrote us off in the first half are going to be sitting there eating their words in the second half, to be honest, because we're going to come back fighting and shooting for more quarters. I think it will be like that.
Look, let's wait and see. It could be all either. You just don't know, God, Drew?
No.
Right, Hoffenheim are like 15th in the Bundesliga, 1-3, drawn 5, lost 8, with a goal difference of -9. So, do you know what I mean? It's not like we're going and we're playing, I don't know, Dortmund or Werder Bremen or Wolfsburg. Like, they're not doing very well. So I would hope.
We don't travel well in Germany. Never have.
No, but it still gives me more confidence that we're going and playing one of those, like a bottom 5 team as opposed to a top 5 team, right?
Yeah, you're absolutely spot on there. Big up, Wayne. Good morning to you, sir. Hopefully you're keeping well. He says, hoping to see Dorrington get a game today. Look, we're going to get into lineup in just one moment now, Wayne. Good to see you. Big up, Dan Gaze. Great to see you. Let's not worry about league position as long as we don't get relegated. Cups are important. We'll take 14th and a cup. Said this all along. Look, I don't know if I want 14. I do want to finish in the top half of the table. Probably a bit selfish and a cup. But look, let's wait and see. And also, big up, Reese, as well. Good to see you in the house. Hopefully you're keeping well. I don't know what's going on this morning. Starting to get the hiccups now. Guys, what sort of lineup are we expecting today? Because, of course, you are playing on a 3G pitch. There is more risk of injury because, like I said, sometimes your studs can get caught if you got to do a quick turn. It's not like a football pitch, where it can the ground can move and stuff like that. So you do sort of run the risk of occurring more injuries playing on 3G pitches. But also the big one, you got the North London derby right around the corner midweek Wednesday night. What sort of lineup are we expecting Ange Postecoglou to fill today, guys? In general, are we expecting it to be youth oriented? We expect it to be more sort of older players orientated, look to get the game done and then bring the youngsters off. We'll start with you, Dharma. You don't need to go through individuals or go through that in a minute, but just in general.
Yeah. Look, in my particular lineup, I went with more youth than experience. You got to have some experience in there, of course you do. But I've gone with the 3 younger lads. I've gone with 4 youth players to start today, the younger players, and you just sprinkle a few experienced players in there just to guide them through, just to tell them, look, don't worry if you're having a sticky patch, don't worry. You'll get through it. We can win this, lads. And I think you've got to do a little bit of do what United did all them years ago with Fergie. You always play the youth and experience and get them gelling, get them playing well in big matches. And this is a big match. It may be against Tamworth or maybe away from home, but it's still the 3rd round of a cup. It's still a cup competition. So the pressure is there. So get these young lads used to it. Get them used to playing away in these sort of grounds that they're not used to, and I think he will. I think he will go with both. You got to play some experience in there, but I think I'm starting with 4 of the young lads, of the 18-year-olds today. But I've given Archie Gray a rest because I think he deserves it, to be fair.
For me, I just don't want to see the likes of Son, Kulu, Solanke. You
No.
know what I mean? They should be, honestly, they should
Are
be
all
left at home
rested.
and said, look, go and take the family out to the zoo, go to London Dungeons, do something, take a bit of time off and relax. So, Drew, do you sort of agree with Dermo's assertion that we are expecting, maybe a mix of both, or do you think Postecoglou? Because Postecoglou did say, in his pre-match press conference, more or less, and I'm just sort of paraphrasing here, that, everyone's expecting me to go with all the youngsters and stuff, but I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, I think it's going to be a healthy mix. I mean, I think unfortunately we're still. If we had a fully fit squad, I would expect to honestly see more youngsters. But I think, we've still only. I don't think anyone's really come back, have they? So I think we're looking at still the same 15, 16 players. So I don't know. Like you say, I would like to think that probably Sonny gets a rest. He looks like he needs it. Yeah, I'd like to see Dorrington, but as I keep harping on, he's still coming back from an injury. He's still only played about 400 minutes, and now we're going on a 3G pitch. So I don't know that that's really conducive to, bringing somebody on that's recovering from an injury. I think you'd rather have them on turf. But that being said, I'd still quite like to, if he's capable, I'd definitely give him a half or at least 30 minutes. I can see Lancashire up front. I think Solanke needs a rest. So yeah, we'll see. I'm not too sure. What really would have been nice is if you could have had a couple of the injured players back on the bench. Like, I don't think Richarlison's going to be ready. I mean, he might, but I think he was being saved for Arsenal. And again, you're coming back from an injury. Do you want somebody running around on a 3G pitch? Like, it's just one of those things. So it's a little bit of a tough one. I'm not too sure. The main thing for me, get through the game and get through without any more injuries. That would be my hope.
Yeah.
So I'm not too sure how he's going to slice it, and I don't mind. I mean, yeah, so long as we've got a team out there that, I think whichever way you slice it, any team we put out should be capable of getting something over this lot.
Absolutely spot on. Look, you even look at our under 21s. They're playing a thing called the EFL Trophy, the Motors Trophy, whatever you want to call it. They play League One, League Two opposition in that, and they can beat them. So there should not be no excuse of what you said, whatever we sort of slice it up or dice it up. That we still should have more than enough to be able to go and beat them. It'd be very interesting. I know a lot of people are sort of tuning in to see a lot of the youngsters play today. So let's wait and see what happens. Big up Ribsy says, oh no, that's not the one. He said, where is it? He said he's budgie cage. Here it is. No, where is it? You're screwing me up, Ribsy. What he said is, he says my budgie cage is bigger than their stadium. It cracked me up. Big up, my man. And Davey Shire is sneaking off for lunch without actually telling us, what is for lunch or dinner. So, Davey, that's a yellow card to you, my man. Big up Reese as well. And then we have Soul Sniper game. Sonny needs a month off. And Spurs need a new left or right winger. And hopefully Udeberg can come back in February, because having both Sonny and Johnson on the pitch together is like playing with a 9. Honestly, I don't get excited watching Tottenham go forward anymore. I'm actually just sitting there hoping that we can string 3 passes together and get a shot on goals. We are absolutely turgid going forward. We are terrible to watch. The amount of breakaways, so indecisive in terms of what we want to do. Drove me mad the first half against Liverpool the other night. You got players running through. You're just like, just play that. Next thing, it's going 5 yards to the left, 10 yards to the right, and I'm pulling my hair out. It's absolutely shocking. And then when I'm looking at wingers, I'm sorry, we're going to have a conversation about Mikey Moore in just a moment, in a while. But, that guy, I've seen him this year get on the ball, take on these guys, put crosses in the box, stuff, cut in, get shots off. I'm begging for Son and Johnson to do that, and they're 10 years older than the guy. It's embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing. And that's why I hope Mikey Moore does start today, come in and show them actually what a real winger is. I think, he'll hopefully put on a display in Spurs fans and go, do you know what? He's got to play. He's got to play. Mm-hmm. So hopefully that's the case today. But look, let's get into it, guys. I think we're going to start we'll talk about, actually, no, we're going to have one more conversation and then we'll move on to lineup. So, this season, Ange Postecoglou has faced increasing criticism over his use of young players this season. Yet Tottenham did become the first Premier League team this year to have 4 teenagers on the pitch at once against Southampton. So far, he has played Kinski, Gray, Bergvall, Udeberg, Moore, Dorrington, Lancashire, with many more being on the bench this season. Now, the narrative around Postecoglou is he won't use these players. He won't use any of the talent around the club. He's stubborn, this, that, and the other. So what does this say about Postecoglou's trust in youth talent, especially compared to the narrative that he doesn't give them enough opportunities?
Look, for me, I think Ange works on the sort of thing of if you're good enough, you will play. If you're not ready, you're not going to play. There's no point putting a youngster in there just for the sheer hell of it. He's got to be ready. He's got to be ready to perform his task. Here's what Ange is asking him to do. And if you're not ready and he thinks you're not ready, what's the point of playing him? Because all he's going to do, you're going to end up carrying a young lad on the pitch, shatter his confidence, and then you're putting him back a couple of months because he's got no confidence of playing. So I think Ange has got a difficult balancing act to do. And because of the injuries we've had, he's sort of forced him to play these youngsters. And you look at Archie Gray, who I think has been absolutely exceptional. He's not a centre-back, but he plays like a centre-back. Do you know what I'm getting at? He's been exceptional. Jed Spence, though he's not a youngster, he feels like he's a youngster that's come through. He's had some sort of redemption. You look at Alfie Dorrington, why hasn't he got a shout?
Yeah.
Well, it's because Archie Gray's been playing so well and drags in his fit. So, do you know, and you look at Mikey Moore, he's come on, he's a little sensation. And it's just sadly he got injured or got his illness when he did. Lancashire should be getting more of a go, but he does get a few kicks here and there, but I think he should have been used more. So maybe Ange sees something in training we don't, and we got to trust him. He's our manager. He's the man we've put our trust in, and maybe he sees something in training saying, do you know what, lads? You're not ready. Maybe some players, younger players, need a bit more training or a bit more time on the training pitch to be ready. And we got to trust in what Ange says. He has been forced to play them, but Ange did it at Celtic. He used a lot of young players up there. He's not scared of putting in young lads. It's just if the young lads are ready, and I don't think some of them are. And I think you can't put in young lads for the sake of putting in young lads. It just doesn't work. It will come back and backfire on you big time.
For me, I just it's a narrative that's put out there, but facts don't care about your feelings, and facts do tell otherwise, that he does use the youngsters. Look, some would argue it's forced. I'd argue he's playing in the Europa League before it was forced on him to give them more game time in the league. But the reality is he is playing them, he is turning to them, he is giving them opportunities despite what people say or despite what people think. And I think it comes down to how many youngsters were you expecting this guy to play? You expecting him to field, 15, 20 youngsters this season in the squad? No, but he has used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 members of the younger squad, plus many more that have been called up, that are training, that have been riding the bench and stuff. So I think it's an unfair narrative around Postecoglou. Drew, would you agree?
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, he's always going to get it thrown at him, right? We've got the injury crisis, so he's only playing the kids because he has to play the kids. But we will never know if that's the case or not, because you can't go back in time and change the fact that we had the injuries. So, I mean, I just think it's a bit of a nothing burger when it comes to having the argument, right? The fact is, we're sitting here, he's playing kids, they're doing well. I think the Dorrington thing, as I say, he's mentioned in the last press conference that Alfie was in the squad. He was in the first team squad and he was training with the first team. So I think he considers him a first team player. I think with Spence beginning of the season, he wasn't playing him because he was recovering from a groin injury. Like, I don't understand how difficult it is for people to get their head around that. All I keep hearing is, why didn't he play Spence? Why didn't he play Spence?
It's driving me mad.
It's driving me
from that Coventry game, he had a groin injury. He couldn't play.
Right. And I just, this is what winds me up about some of our supporters, man, is they take isolated incidents and throw it at the manager and fail to look at the big picture. And I'm just at the point in the season where I'm just done having worthless arguments with people. I just think the kids are in a good position. He's playing them. Let's all just get on board, right?
100%. It's just the narrative that drives me mad, because you see it anywhere. Oh, it's supposed to have all these amazing youngsters, you won't use them. It's like, He's already used 6 or 7. He's probably used more than any other team this year, you know. And look, SF, he says, no, I'm not having that. You know, he's played Werner over Moore over and over and over. Look, Moore's been out injured for I don't know how long, you know, with his illness so far this season. But, you know, even last season, he turned to Mikey Moore, gave him opportunities. He gave him these opportunities in Europe and stuff like that, and he was taking them, and he was starting to come off the bench in Premier League games. Then, unfortunately, he suffered the illness. But, look, like I said, people can keep having these conversations, but I do think, you know, the research needs to be done into it. You know, I've listed off 7 players there that are of 21 years of age or younger that Postecoglou has used in games this season. So, you know, I think it is, you know, anyone that does have that point of view, I think you need to take that into account and maybe reassess, because if you thought he was going to pull up all the under 21s and play them, you're sadly mistaken. It's never going to happen. There is a balance that needs to be struck, but to be fair to Ange, you know, I think it's a narrative that he's unfairly painted around them. And he says, and a fair few of these prospects are out on loan also. No, 100%. 100%. You know, absolutely spot on. Jaden says, Ange in till the wheels fall off. Fair point. Fair point. But guys, I do want to move in now and talk a little bit about Alfie Dorrington, because Postecoglou had to say on Alfie Dorrington, Alfie is training with us. He's been around the first team squad and part of the first team squad. He had a pretty significant injury which kept him out of football for quite a while. But he is part of the squad and he probably needs to get some game time. So we would look for a loan for him given our injury crisis and the lack of options available at centre-back, guys. Is it the right decision for Spurs to pursue a loan move for Alfie Dorrington, or should they be giving him more opportunities in and around the first team? Because I presume Postecoglou's probably thinking, well, look, Romero's due back, Van der Ven's due back, Ben Davies is due back, you know, which probably limits his Dorrington's game time even more, you know, so for the second half of the season, probably get him out to continue his development so he doesn't stagnate. We'll kick off with you, Drew. Do you think it's the right decision, or do you think they should look to keep him around as cover just in case?
No, I think it's the right decision, because I think there's the possibility we go out and maybe get another defender in January. I don't know if we will, but it's possible. I would think that because you've got Romero, VDV, and Davis coming back, that yeah, like you just said, you put Dorrington out on loan to a team that you think's going to give him 10, 12 games or something like that, rather than him maybe not even getting on the bench for Spurs. Or if he does, you know, you're going to give him 5 minutes against Elfborg and, you know, 2 minutes against this team. And, you know, I think it would be better for him if he went out and got, you know, a few hundred minutes under his belt for somebody. But then also, you know, you've got to be careful with the loans, because you've got to send players out to teams that are going to at least play similar sorts of styles. So you got to be careful with that sort of thing.
No, 100%. And look, for me, I just think I do worry about some of these youngsters when they're sent out on loan, because let's be honest, when was the last youngster that's gone out on loan that's come back and, you know, being ready for first team football, or Tottenham have turned to give him an opportunity, you know? I can't remember the last time that's happened. And especially when you look down there, you know, the last 5, 6, 7 years, a lot of the loans we send out, players go out there with big reputations and never return, you know, with an enhanced reputation off the back of it or stuff like that. So I do worry. And I do think this loan market is something that Tottenham need to get to grips with. Look, it's different than years gone by. Years gone by, you can have a team called an affiliate club, which basically you paid them so much a year, you could send as many youngsters as you wanted there. And, you know, basically you could sort of say, well, we want you to play them, we want you to develop them, we are giving you money and stuff like that. Whereas that's out of the game now. So when you are sending these players, 9 times out of 10, especially down the English pyramid, I don't believe they believe that these guys are coming in to impact the first team straight away. I do think a lot of it is, oh, well, look, we need cover at centre-back, we need cover here, let's bring him in on loan, you know, and stuff like that. And I worry, and I think this is where Tottenham need to be smarter. If you're loaning these guys out, get it in the contract. They have to play so many minutes. If not, you can recall them and stuff like that. That's, for me, what should happen going forward. Dermot, do you want to say on the matter?
Look, I think it is important you find the right club for these youngsters. It is important. You look at Ashley Phillips doing so well where he is at the moment. And I think it's important that Dorrington does get some game time. And I think it's right for him to go out alone, but we've got to find the right club for him. And I think Drew hits the nail on the head, that plays a similar style of football that we play. You can't just send them out just willy-nilly to any loan club just for the sheer hell of it. You gotta put in your you got to look into where he's going. Did he play the same football as us? And also, is he going to get the minutes? Because there's no point sending him there just to sit on the bench. You look at Troy Parrott. How many times did he go out on loan and he just sat on the bench? Or who's the name of that other young striker we had? Dean Scarlett. He just sat on the bench at some clubs and he didn't get any minutes at all. So you've got to do your research, and I'm sure Tottenham have, but I think it's a good move. Get Dorrington out, getting on some loan time, and then from the start of next season, really integrate him into the first team properly and have him there as a backup, because I think he's a talent. He's a good centre-back. Somebody put it in the chat, and I agree with it. It's because Archie Gray's done so well at centre-back. That's what's kept him out.
Yeah.
To be fair, Archie Gray, for me, has been a steal. We are so lucky that we got him. He really has been a steal. And I think for an 18-year-old who's never played centre-back to come in and perform how he's performed, it shows the quality of the player and the quality of the lad as well. And to keep Dorrington out as well, who is a centre-back. It says it all. It says it all about Archie Gray, really.
No, look, he's been absolutely phenomenal since he stepped in. And, I do feel sorry for Dorrington to a certain degree because, they chose to loan out Ashley Phillips over him last season. He was kept around. And then 2 weeks later, after that decision was made, he ended up doing his hamstring, got himself back, done his hamstring again, which meant he had to go for surgery, missed all of preseason, missed the start of this season, and it took him a while to get back up to speed. And I sort of feel sorry for Dorrington because, in a way, have you missed your opportunity, being a youngster coming through, breaking through? It's all about, either massive belief from a manager or, timing an opportunity and you taking it. And I just wonder, has he missed that to a certain degree? And I feel sorry for the kid because, I think people are sleeping on him. He's a good centre-back. He's very good on the ball. When they were playing under 21s together, him and Phillips, look, Phillips was good defensively, but Dorrington was streets ahead of his all-around game, in my opinion. That's why the decision was made last January to send Phillips out. And I really do feel sorry for someone like Alfie Dorrington. But, Drew, do you think he will start today? Do you think he will get minutes?
I don't think he's going to start just because, and as I say, I don't know to sound like a broken record, 270 minutes, 300 minutes in 4 appearances. Like, he's not even played 90 minutes this season. Yeah. I just don't, so that's the only reason. If he was fit and firing, absolutely all day long, throw him in, because I watched a couple of games last season and he looks so comfortable on the ball. Yeah. He basically, he could be the heir apparent to Romero. Like if, Romero happened to stick around for 2 or 3 years, you can see the same. He's got that same confidence where he can put his foot on the ball and he owns that back line and he can maraud forward. I saw him score a goal where I think he played a 1-2 with Donnelly. Or he played this. There was just one goal that stands
was it in
out.
The cup final? I think it was one of the cup finals.
I think it was. A little 1-2 as a centre back and just goes marauding forward. Like the guy is unreal. So touch wood, he's going to come back from the injuries. I would like to see him go out, as I say, go out on loan, get some game time. Fingers crossed we can maybe start to integrate him next season. If not, because of Vuskovic, maybe he goes out on loan again and you're maybe looking at the season after that potentially. But yeah, it would be awful. Like I've followed him ever since I heard you call him out probably about 18 months ago. So just want nothing for the best.
Be honest, what do you think? You think I was over the top with the call out? Do you think, on the right ballpark? And you can be honest, just because we're friends, you don't have to sit here and lick my hole,
No, because I think even when you get to those under 21s, you can still spot. I think you can still spot the ones that you really think are head and shoulders above. And he does have that. Like, I think if it wasn't for the injuries, he'd already have done a couple of. Yeah. He'd already be where Archie Gray is. I've got a feeling you'd have seen a couple of appearances, certainly more than you have already. He looks head and shoulders above all of them. Him and Donnelly were the standouts in that squad, right?
Yeah, no, 100%. And look, Donnelly's absolutely ripping it up at the minute, and long may that continue. I was really pissed off. I was going to do a watch-along for the Leyton Orient game yesterday because Keely and Donnelly are there, but it was called off in the end, so it really sort of annoyed me. But look, it's disappointing for Dorrington, but you know what? I just hope the kid goes out on loan, gets his game time, develops, and comes back and proves a point. Stevie Fraser says, "Are we sleeping on Ashley Phillips?" I don't think anyone's sleeping on Ashley Phillips. I think when you look at it, look at the size of the guy for his age. He's already physically developed as a man, right? I think with Ashley Phillips, it does come around to how good he is in possession. You know, I think that's why he was chosen to go out on loan last January over Dorrington, because Dorrington was streets ahead in terms of in possession, and it suits more the way Ange wants to play out from the back than Ashley Phillips. And with Ashley Phillips, he had a good low move at Plymouth to a certain degree, but again, in possession, sometimes he was found wanting. And I think that's the side of his game where they've been loaning him out to try and develop Stevie Fraser. That's just from my observation, watching him and Dorrington alongside each other, the under-21s. Phillips is, like I said, he's a man already, but you know, it's the in possession game. When Dorrington was on the ball, you could see he was streets ahead. So I think that's probably why Stevie. But he's going to be a good defender. The one I really can't wait to see next season is Luka Vuskovic. I mean, the size of that guy, what he's doing already out on loan. I mean, I am absolutely cannot wait to see what he comes in here and produces. Big up Mark Satoshi as well. Great to see you. But look, we've got the one and only Brian Dempsey. My dad's name is Brian. It's one of the names of great men on this planet Earth. He says, "All right, Dave, hope you're well, bro. Big up the panel. Want to see Mikey Gaza more, but also need a few senior players there. Hat-trick more. Incoming. Come on, you Spurs." Look, we'll get in and have a conversation around Mikey Moore, boys. I mean, first of all, big up Brian Dempsey. Really appreciate support. Look, and I love the name Gazamore. That's absolutely brilliant. I'm sure he'll love that too. But for me, I think there's a real opportunity today for someone like Mikey Moore. Look, I don't believe, you know, we got the full story of what happened to Mikey Moore. Illness for 4 or 5 weeks. Don't buy that whatsoever. I think there's definitely maybe something else going on there. But with Mikey Moore, super talent, you know. I remember Karabag, AZ Alkmaar. I think there was another European game, you know, where you had some other senior players out there and they're all just going through the motions, especially Alkmaar. I remember Mikey Moore just said, second half, give me the ball. I'll show people how to play. Gets on the ball, goes skins players, put crosses in the box, you know, cuts inside, unleashes good shots. I remember him playing beautiful balls for Timo Werner, and the guy couldn't finish his dinner, you know. And for me, I'm really excited to see Mikey Moore come back into the fold, and I really do hope he can get straight up to speed and play well, because I think there's a golden opportunity moving forward for the 17-year-old. If he comes in and demonstrates and shows us what Son and Johnson haven't been able to show us this year in terms of the all-round game for a winger, I think there's an opportunity for him to play either a right or left wing going forward for Tottenham Hotspur. You know, because, and we've seen the guy, he can play both sides. That's the thing, you know. We make excuses for players sometimes going, oh, he's on the left-hand side. What do you expect him to do? And it's like, well, Spence, I've seen Spence play both full back. He's brilliant on the ball. I've seen Moore play both sides on the wing. Doesn't lose the ball, still has the same sort of impact. So for me, I think it comes down to caliber of player, but I really want to see Mikey Moore today. And I think, you know, he's ideal for a game like this. A guy that can take free kicks, score goals from distance, play people through, put crosses in the box. You need someone like him to be able to unlock this door today. And like I said, massive opportunity. I thought maybe with him being 17, the illness, you know, the injury crisis, has he maybe missed his opportunity to have that real impact or show what he can do? But the players are still out. He's back. Let's see what he can do today. But I'm super pumped to watch him in action. Anyone that knows me, I'm a loser, right? You know, I've watched the under-18s. I watched the under-21s. You know, I watched the senior team. Honestly, I'm just a loser. So I'm really excited to see some of these under-21s come through and hopefully get some minutes today. I mean, Drew Darmo, what's your thoughts on Mikey Moore? Are you excited to see him back in action today?
Oh,
I love
wait,
Mikey
mate.
Moore. Sorry, Drew.
And do we think he
first.
starts,
No,
or do you
no.
think he'll have to be patient?
No, you go first, Drew. Go on.
No, well, and just real quickly, Ash Phillips, I think he's at Stoke to be sold because I think you've loaned out. Yeah, I think you've loaned out a player to a club that plays football that is nothing like the football that you play, and I think he's been sent out there to show that he's a half decent defender, and I think they're looking at trying to get bids for him. That's just my 2 cents.
No, fair.
As far as
interesting
Mikey Moore.
observation.
Yeah, as far as Mikey Moore, the kid's unreal. Like he's one of those players that does, like as the old cliche says, puts you on the edge of your seat. Like you said, he's good on the left, he's good on the right. I try not to put too much pressure on kids because obviously, you know, it's happened in the past where
Yeah.
17, 18-year-olds come on the scene. You think, oh, it's going to be amazing. And 2 years later, they're in League Two. So,
Yeah.
you know, but I mean, he's got absolutely everything. The plaudits that he's gotten from, you know, the manager, from other players, the fact that I think he's exceptionally, from what I hear in the background, just completely down to earth, like really just doesn't care about anything but football. So yeah, I can't wait to see him today. Again, 17 years old, coming back from an injury. I know they've been wrapping him in cotton wool. If he starts, I don't see him finishing the game. If he doesn't start, I see him maybe having 45 minutes. But yeah, he's one to get excited for, I think.
No, I think you can. I think I've seen more than enough of him. I think everyone's seen more than enough of his highlight reels to know that, you know, there's a generational talent here. You know, you look at what he does for England. You know, when he calls up to the underage groups, he's the best player by a country mile. He's running legs off French players and everything else. You know, he's an unbelievable talent. Dermo, anything you want to say on Mikey Moore today, lad?
Mikey Moore reminds me, and this is what really excites me. He reminds me like when Ryan Giggs started to break through in Man United, and Fergie did the same thing, just protected him, played him a few games, and then protect him. And Ange's doing the same thing Fergie did with Giggs. He's protected him. He had this illness. I agree with you, Dave. We don't know the full story about why Mikey Moore has been left out, but the club have been really careful and wrapped him up in cotton wool. But he excites me. He reminds me, like we've always bought through a few gems through Tottenham. We had Glenn Hoddle come through the youth ranks. We had a few other players as well. But Mikey Moore, he's on the same level for me as Glenn Hoddle. He will be at Glenn Hoddle's level. And he reminds me so much when Ryan Giggs broke through the United side. It's the same thing. He could play neither wing. He gets you on the edge of your seat. He's exciting to watch. And we've had a few good youth players during the year. Nicky Barmby's another young player that came through our youth academy and was played well for us. But Mikey Moore, we got a generational talent here. We really have the next best thing at Tottenham. But Dave, you watch a lot of the youth team, the under 21s. He's not the only one, is he? There's loads more coming through this conveyor belt at the moment that we seem to be landing on our feet with these young players, aren't we? Rarely, to be fair.
Well, I think you know that all comes from obviously like Mike's and Mikey, you know, more and that were here before, but you know a lot of it does come from Paratici. You know, before he came in, the young players around Tottenham were pretty much non-existent. You know, that's why we end up getting a stale dressing room the way we did. You didn't really have anyone coming in laying down competition, you know. But I think with Paratici coming in here, I think, and this is why I thought he was good for the club. You know, he made Daniel realise, you know, you got to invest in youngsters. It's not a waste. You know, if these players come through, you save yourself 40, 50, 60 million. But not only that, you know, if they don't come through, look at what other clubs are doing. People go mad about Man City. What they don't talk about is that they're selling their under 21 players at 20, 30, 40 million a pop. You know what I mean? And, you know, I think, you know, Paratici has been able to come in and say that to Daniel. It's like, you can't lose investing in the youngsters. You can't lose if it's done right. And I think that's why we're seeing a lot of the young resurgence around Tottenham Hotspur and a lot of these players sort of starting to emerge through. So it was very good by Paratici coming in here and doing that. But big up Brian Dempsey, my man. Really appreciate the support, brother. Absolute legend, and hopefully you're keeping well, sir. Really, really do appreciate the support. Guys, let's talk a little bit about Yang Min Hyuk. I mean, look, many people want to see him giving his debut today. Spurs fans are eager. I've seen it everywhere. They all want to get a glimpse of this guy. Look, I think at some stage we're going to see him. It's just got. Do you think he's ready? Do you think he's going to start or not, guys?
I think he'll start on the bench. I think he'll come on. I don't think he'll start the game. I think he'll come on probably for about 45 minutes or get a good, probably, 45 minutes. I think that's where it's at. He's another talent that he needs to be nurtured and needs to be looked after. But we will see him today at some point. But I don't think for the whole game, though.
Drew, think he starts?
Yeah, same. No, I don't see it. I think Werner starts.
Fair. Fair.
Oh, hell.
Guys, just quickly, if the lineup is out, can someone bring it up and, bring it in for me? Because for some reason it won't let me log into my Twitter. So if it is out, Darmon, you can see it. Just bring it in here.
Yeah,
And we'll
I'm
get onto it.
just checking now.
Look, I agree with Yang. I'll be very surprised if he starts. I think, you're going to go with one experienced winger with Mikey Moore the other side. I think it'll either be Werner or Johnson today with Mikey Moore the other side. But with Yang, I'm really, really, really interested to see what he can come in and produce because, look, don't get me wrong. He's obviously a talent or Spurs wouldn't have bought him. But, he's a relatively unknown. No one really knows what to expect. He's 17 years of age, coming over from the J League, coming into a foreign country. Look, when I go to London, I can barely settle. So I can only imagine what it's like for a 17-year-old going there trying to settle in. And, because people don't realize, but London is so much busier than where other people come from all over the world. It's just 24/7 non-stop. So it's a difficult place to sort of settle and stuff. So it'll be very interesting to see what Yang can do. But I think he will get his appearance at some stage today. Let's wait and see what happens. I also want to have a quick conversation around Will Lancashire, and then we'll move back into the midfield and see what you guys are expecting. But we are expecting Dom Solanke to be given a rest today. Richarlison, we were told, will be held back to the North London Derby, which means then you think that Will Lancashire will go on, lead the line and take the charge to Tamworth. But again, I think there's a decision to be made around him, right? He's played 4 appearances. He's made 4 appearances this season. I think he's made 135 minutes across them 4 appearances, which isn't a lot, and he's a guy with insane talent. Scored a lot of goals for the under-21s last year. The club really believe in him. But again, do you keep him around the second half of the season? And, especially with Richarlison come back, that reduces opportunities more, and in the fear of him stagnate, or do you loan him out? And look, for me, I think it comes down to today. He has a massive opportunity to lay down a mark and say, look, Ange, I've got everything you're looking for. I can do everything Dom Solanke's doing. Trust me, So I'll just ask you guys, what does he need to do today to, basically say to Tottenham, you've got to keep me around second half of the season, because there is a serious amount of interest in this guy taking him on loan, by the way.
I think he's got to score goals today. I think that's what he's got to do. He's got to bag a couple today. If he bags a couple of goals today and puts in a really good performance, that will make Ange sit up and nose. I think Ange knows what he's got anyway. I think Ange knows he's a good player. He wouldn't have him in the first team or around the first team if he wasn't a good player.
But then the criticism would come in, though, Dermo, from the Ange out fans or just fans in general, where it's like, well, yeah, it's clear that we've got a good talent there, but there's games this year where we're chasing games. He hasn't brought them on. There's times this year with Dom Solanke's look absolutely fatigued, still refuses to bring him on.
Yeah, I mean, well, the Ange out people will use any excuse just because they're Ange out, so you can't.
Well, maybe I worded that wrong. I don't think it is just Ange out, to be fair. I think it's fans in general.
Yeah. Look, what I love about football is everyone has their own opinion. Football is full of opinions, and that's what makes the game we love such a game, the best game in the world, because us 3 here can watch the same game and have 3 different opinions on what we're seeing. Look, I can answer why Ange hasn't used them. Maybe Ange doesn't think he's ready for certain games.
But do you think it's more beneficial to keep him around and train with the players that we've got, to work with the manager that ultimately, he's trying to get into the team? Or do you think it is beneficial for him to go out on loan and develop?
I think it's beneficial that he's training around these first teamers.
Why?
And I think, look, you could put a youngster in and use them, and he could have a bad game, and that would shot his confidence completely. Fans were getting his back. Oh, what's this youngster? Why are you playing this youngster? Why are you not playing this player? Why are you not playing that player? And I think you've got to be careful with youngsters. You've got to look after them, I suppose, in a way, and do wrap them up in some bit of cotton wool. And I feel like games like today is a good opportunity for Lancashire to come in, show him what he's all about, put a marker down, say, look, I can be better than Richarlison. But Richarlison is a senior pro, but do you know he is injury prone? So maybe he needs to put down this marker today. He needs to score a couple of goals. He needs to prove to Ange, look, today's your chance. Prove to me why I need to pick you. And Dave's disappeared. I don't know where Dave's gone. He's left the loony and the sensible fella in the house. So I don't know what damage we can do, Drew.
I know, right? I don't know which one of us is the lunatic and which one of us is the normal one either. So
I'm the lunatic. You're the normal one. But look, on Lancashire, is it a bit of you got to be careful with them, or do you agree with Dave that you got to put him in straight away? We should have been using him more.
You know, in a perfect world, if this team hadn't been such a car crash this year,
Yeah.
I'd say, yeah, no worries, put him in. But the fact is, I just don't know that we've really been in too many positions where you had the first team running out, putting on a great performance for 70 minutes. We were 3-0 up, and then Lancashire could come on and spend the last 15, 20 minutes getting himself embedded into the game. Do you know what I mean? Because that would be the ideal scenario, and we just haven't had that. So I don't know. I'm always of the mind, right? Regardless of what you think, I just think you have to be a little bit open-minded about it. And while I can understand some people's knee-jerk reaction to just turn around and say player X, Y, or Z is shit, get him off, give somebody else a chance, or I just when you're dealing with this sort of game and you're dealing with this sort of high intensity, and you've got a manager who, you know, whether you love him or hate him, there are some instances this year from week to week, and even just like even during a game, like people saying Ange out middle of 20 minutes into a game because a couple of passes have gone wrong. All of a sudden it's Ange out. So the pressure is astronomical. So what I would say is that if you're still hanging on, or if you're still looking for a goal for the last 10, 15 minutes of a game, I'm sorry, but the law of averages to me says that a tired Dom Solanke is still arguably going to produce something of a higher caliber potentially than a 17, 18, 19-year-old off the bench.
Against Liverpool the other night, right? You know, that sort of last minute run, knocking the player off, playing it into Bergvall. Is that what you're sort of alluding to? Because
that's kind of what I'm alluding to.
Because Snow Sniper Gaming says here, West Ham match, Everton, Villa, all games were done early at home where there was opportunities to bring him on.
West Ham match, Everton, Villa games were done early at home. There was opportunities.
I think we beat Everton 4-0, didn't we? I think we beat Villa 4-1. I think we smashed West Ham to a degree. 3-1 or 4-1.
And that's fair enough. And if he was on the bench, and if he was available, and if it was that comfortable, then I don't have an answer as to why he didn't get brought on.
I do take your first point, though. I think you've made a great point there as well.
I agree with this point, that his composure. And now I do agree with that. You think that
sending off did maybe make Ange think a little bit differently around trusting him to
I think so. I really do think so. I think that did play in Ange's mind. And when you're putting these youngsters out the pitch, it's about, can I trust them? Can I trust them to do the job that I'm asking them to do? You don't see Dom Solanke, and I know I like Drew spot on when he says about against Liverpool, he's tired, but he still get more out of Dom Solanke than in the last minute of a game when he's knackered than you do probably out of Lancashire, because composure is the greatest thing in football. You've got to be composed, especially up front. You've got to be composed. You've got to be sensible in what you do and then how you play the game. And I think that would have played a lot of Ange's mind. Can I trust him?
Can you bring in the lineups, my man? I think they're out now. It's just it won't let me log into Twitter for some reason.
Okay, I'm just double checking now.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we will bring up the lineups. Just bear with us one moment. They are coming out, and we'll get into the lineups. Stormo's just going to get them, share them in here. For some reason, I've been trying to log into Twitter for the last half an hour, and it just will not let me. Keep
there
saying,
you go, man.
Imagine this. Yeah. It's an account called the Irish Hotspur. Me and Jack are the Irish Hotspur. And then all of a sudden, it's saying suspicious login. Work that one out. Anyway, the lineups are out, and they do. We'll bring Drew up here so he doesn't get covered with comments. So the lineups are out. Kinski is in goals. Postecoglou alluded to that in the embargoed section of the pre-match press conference that he will start. Interesting. Pedro Porro right back. Dragusin and Gray go in at centre back with Reguilon at left back. Sarr, Basuma and Madison in the midfield. Johnson, Werner and Mikey Moore as your front line, which means Mikey Moore technically is one of the only youngsters, given the opportunity today. Dermo, I can barely read that bench. Can you read out the bench, lad?
Yeah, of course I can, man. And on the bench is Brandon Austin, Jed Spence, Alfie Dorrington, Bergville, Lolosi, Kulusevski, Son, Solanke, and Lancashire.
Interesting. Delighted to see Alasessia on the bench. I wonder will he get minutes. The kid's been on the bench 13 times this year and hasn't got 1 minute off the bench. No, Dorrington though, guys. I was surprised. Was there an opportunity here to rest someone like Gray or Dragston ahead in North London Derby? Because if we do pick up an injury today, people will go for Ange for playing a lot of these guys today when there's probably no need. Drew, what's your thoughts on the lineup?
Let's have a look. Sorry, I was just looking at this. I was just fact checking this other when who was it? The gentleman that said that the games were wrapped up early and Lancashire still didn't come on.
Yeah.
The game against Villa, he wasn't even in the squad. So, of course he didn't.
Fair point. Fair point.
So, I don't know.
Look,
I was just going through the others.
This is the great thing about it, you know. This is the great thing about debate, you know. So, fair play to you. So, look, that's a fair point.
Yeah, did you know what? I kind of half expected this to be what it is. Solanke getting a rest, you can't leave him out. Honestly, I still think if you get a couple of goals up, I would like to think that maybe Lancashire comes on instead of Solanke. Like, do you know what I mean? You only bring Solanke, Son, Kulusevski. Obviously, they're there to make up the bench numbers, but you really don't want to bring those guys on unless you absolutely have to, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, fingers crossed.
Are you surprised, though, that, you know, with the players that are out there, like, he's surprised with the amount of senior players out there? I think many people are expecting a little bit more of a hybrid, Drew.
Again, Dave, I think you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, right?
Yeah.
If you take out all these guys, you put the kids in, and the kids end up being rabbit or deers in headlights, and we go 2-3 down real quick or something, and he has to make changes. Oh, it's all Ange's fault. He played the kids. He should have played a couple of the guys. Do you know what I mean? He should have played a couple of the leaders. Now you go out there with a couple of these guys. If one of them picks up an injury, it's, oh, he should have played a kid. I can't believe it. Oh, why has he played Maddison? Like, so I don't know, man. I'm just going into these games objectively now, just hoping to enjoy it. Like, there's so much outside noise when it comes to Ange and the decisions and who he does and who he doesn't play. I keep on saying this. I've been saying it for weeks. The only thing different from the last game is we potentially have picked up another injury or not, and the guys have got another 70 to 90 minutes in already heavy legs.
Yeah.
So, like, we just got to get through, man. We got to get through to the end of January, get a few more bodies in, hopefully still be in cups, and just see where we go. But it's like January is about consolidation for me.
Do you know what? I just worry, you know, to Lee's point, you know, we do have Arsenal Wednesday. You like to think at least Sarr, Porro, Dragston, Gray, Kinski, you know, they're all going to play, and people are a bit worried. But Drew, I'll have 2 quick questions and then we'll get Darmo's thoughts, and then we'll end off, guys. Just quickly, Drew, do you think this starting lineup reflects Postecoglou sort of maybe feeling like he's a little bit under pressure? Because if we were maybe doing a lot better than maybe the first half of the season, do you think we would have seen a lot more youngsters? Do you think that maybe reflects the times that maybe we're in? And second of all, I mean, Werner up front. How are you feeling about that one, lad? Because the guy just doesn't know how to score goals.
I'll tell you what, Dave. If we were sitting third in the league, we didn't have any injuries. We were doing a nice little rotation thing. We were doing all right in Europe, but we were dumped out of the Carabao Cup and we went out today. I don't think it would be that much of a big deal. The fact that we're lying where we are means that I feel like every game seems to matter at the moment. So I think he's done what he needs to do to get a result. And I think you look at that and the hope is that you're 3-0 up by half time and you can make 3 substitutions at half time and another 2 after 60 minutes or vice versa. And you can just call it good and you can move on. It's professional football. These guys should be able, you know, in a perfect world, I mean, you can't legislate for the injuries. In a perfect world, if we'd have had a fully fit squad, playing this lot today and playing Arsenal on Wednesday wouldn't be a big deal. But we're in the situation we're in. So he's hoping to finish the game after 45 minutes, give the guys a rest and still be ready for Wednesday, right?
Fair point. Absolute fair point. And Werner up front?
Werner, you know what? Of all the times to play Werner up front, now is probably it. And
if he doesn't score,
kid you not, right? if a ball ricochets off that guy's boost gumps and goes in for the winner, I will not give a flying toss.
No, neither will I. Neither will I. It's just I don't have any confidence in the guy whatsoever.
No, absolutely.
But you never know. You never know. It could be the remaking of the guy, right? He's repurposed as a winger. He was originally a striker. It could be the making of him today. You just don't know. But it's I don't think it's one that'll go down well too many with Spurs fans here whatsoever. In fact, it hasn't gone down well at all. People are saying, why no Lancashire? Dermo, let's get your thoughts on the lineup. Drew, let's get your score prediction, buddy, for today, actually, and we'll get on to Dermo.
5-1.
5-1. You're feeling it today. Absolutely love that. Love the confidence. Darmo, what's your thoughts on the lineup, and give us your score prediction, buddy?
Look, for me, the lineup, I'm really shocked he hasn't gone with Lancashire up front. I'm really am.
Think it's a bad call?
I think it is. I think
Why?
it is. I think you're playing Werner, who's got no confidence, couldn't hit a bull up the arse. Couldn't even do it, can't even trap a ball properly. And they're playing them up front. So, Jesus, what hope have you got? I would have played Lancashire. I'm surprised young York is not on the bench or even starting. I agree with some of the people. We've got Arsenal on Wednesday, and he's playing Dragoson and Gray, Reguilon and Porro. You would have put Dorrington in there. So I'm really shocked over that. But look, the midfield is the one I picked in my predicted lineup. So I presume Manderson, I did pick that midfield tree. But I wouldn't even have had Kulu on the bench. I would have given them the weekend off. Don't need you, lads. Go and do something else. Look, it is what it is. It's a team. We back them. But I think he's taking a risk here. I do with Arsenal on Wednesday. I don't know. I just don't know. And Werner up front. Lord God, he better score today. But as Drew says, if it comes off his arse, his elbow, his ear, his hair, whatever, we'll be shouting and raving and think Werner's the second coming. So we've got to back the lads.
I'm just not entirely sure who else. I mean, I'm having a hard time naming another.
I think he would have done himself a bit of justice by giving Lancashire a couple of minutes and Dorrington a start.
I think so.
I think you would have got away with that with this lineup. To be brutally honest with you, I think with Dragoson and Gray, I can understand starting Dragoson. Trying to deal with the long throws, neutralize their only threat. Fully get that. Someone like Gray, I think, why risk it? He's played a lot of football. Let him rest. Let him get himself right for that Arsenal game. Give Dorrington an opportunity. Werner, look. And to Christoph in there, look, I don't mean the making of him. What I actually mean, I just use poor words, is that it might rejuvenate him if he can score a few goals or whatever. But being brutally honest, I just think Werner is a wasted experiment at Tottenham Hotspur. I didn't want him here in the first place, let alone a second time around. And I just think it's a waste. Werner's had more than enough opportunities this season to prove his work. You go back to the Rangers game, the guy didn't even try a leg, couldn't do anything. And it's been like that most of this season when he has got minutes. It's pointless. What's Werner learning from this game? Will Lancashire would learn so much more being out there for 90 minutes, getting that opportunity. And I just feel that's the one decision that's let me down. To be brutally honest with you, the rest I was expecting it. Listening to Postecoglou's words in the pre-match press conference, I was expecting a bit of a stronger lineup than what most thought. But this Werner one is the one that's irritating me. It's got to be Will Lancashire all day long over Werner. But look, at the end of the day, Ange's manager, I think you're absolutely spot on, Drew. I think he wants to go and get the game done within, the first half, and then you'd probably see a load come off the bench. Just quickly, though, guys, no Yang on the bench. He was on the bench against Liverpool, not today. So he's not going to make his first competitive start for Tottenham Hotspur. I mean, are we surprised by that?
I am. I'm very surprised by that. I would have thought this is an ideal game for him to make his debut. It's not against the toughest opposition in the world, to be fair, and it gives him a chance of getting a taste of first-team football. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's a really wrong decision, and I'm not happy with Werner starting over Lancashire. I'm really on that. I mean, Ange is the manager. We back the team, but that's a cock-up. That is a complete cock-up. Werner's got no confidence, and you're not starting a striker that can bag us a couple of goals. I don't know. But yeah, I agree with you, Dave. I think he's played with the side to get it done early. And if you want my score prediction, I'm going for 6-0. Go 6-0 up and bring Werner up as quickly as bring him off. Just bring them off after 20 minutes and then just get Lancashire on. Please, for the love of God. I've got 90 minutes of Werner. Lovely.
Let's see how it goes anyway. Look, let's see how it goes. At the end of the day, Postecoglou's the manager. This is the team he's picked to go out and win the game. Let's get behind it and see what happens. Guys, please
I'll
get
tell you
over.
what,
You what?
Just from a confidence point of view, right? If you start Lancashire, and I'm just spitballing here, right? But you start Lancashire and you get to 40 minutes, 50 minutes, 65 minutes, you still haven't scored. You haul him off and you put somebody else up front, you go on to get the win. Does that dent the kid's confidence rather than the other possibility, which is you're already 2-0 up, you can have a bit of breathing room, you can put him on, tell him to just go out and enjoy the game, and then you go on to win, potentially,
play with
ideally.
No pressure is what you mean. Sort of going
and then you've got absolutely no pressure on the kid, and he's just been able to go out there and just learn how to play football. You know what I mean? Whereas if you start the kid, you're putting automatically more pressure on him to go out there, grab the first goal. And I just look at it from that point of view, and I just think there's got to be a rhyme or reason to this. He's not doing these things just to piss people off in the chat, guys. Like, do you know what I mean? I mean, somebody said it's an absolute disgrace Yang's not in the side. It's not an absolute disgrace. He's a 17-year-old South Korean that has literally been in the country 3 weeks. Maybe he's decided, do you know what? I don't need to put this 17-year-old through going to Tamworth and sitting next to an electric heater in a changing room. Maybe it's better that he just stays at home and I play, he gets to run out in the next game. I don't know, man.
I think you make a fair point. You go out there, Yang starts, Lancashire starts and stuff like that, You are putting pressure on the kids to go out there and deliver. And I think there is merit to your point, go out there strong, get these guys off, get the youngsters on, and then they can almost go out there with a degree of freedom, try things, express themselves maybe a lot more. I fully understand your point of view. And I think, look, you make a great point. Absolutely. I just think for me, look, I'm sick of Werner. That's just why I'm a bit angry about it personally. I'm sick of the guy. I've watched Will Lancashire for the under-21s. I know if you give him service, he will finish. And that's where I become a little bit disappointed. But I actually think your point is very, very valid, Drew. And I think anyone that says it's not, I don't think is understanding the point you're trying to make. I do think it's very, very valid. And actually, a lot of people are saying spot on, Drew. So that's good that people do actually see your point of view. It is a fair point.
It's not just barking at clouds.
No, it's a fair point. I think, look, many people agree with it. Guys, make sure you get across the Dermot's channel. Make sure you smash that subscribe button. It's got loads of content coming out. Get over there and check that out. We have Dark Song G says, rather have Yang instead of Son on the bench, to be honest. I think many people probably feel like you, Dark Song G. I think many people wanted to see Yang today, even off the bench for 15, 20 minutes, just to see what he's like, get him the ball, see what he's like, see if he can handle the physicality and stuff like that. On that one, I do think it's a slight missed opportunity. But again, to Drew's point, he's only been in the country 3-4 weeks, time to settle in and all that sort of stuff. I'll take it. But I do think many Spurs fans will be annoyed that Yang didn't make the bench, because I've seen it everywhere. So many people across socials are really looking forward to getting a glimpse of this kid and seeing what he can do. But I think what people don't take into account, you are talking about a 17-year-old coming from the J League to the Premier League. English football in general, it's a lot more physical. It's a lot more intense, than what he's used to. So maybe Ange is protecting the kid. Maybe he's realized, look, he ain't ready for this sort of intensity. He ain't ready for the physicality. We've got to work on him behind the scenes, bulk him up. Because, if you bring in a kid too soon, you ain't doing him any favor. You're almost effectively killing his career before it's got going. So maybe that's the reasonings behind it, Dark Song G. But let me know your thoughts, of course. And then Absolute Bore, Absolute Bore 22 says, omit Timo. Look, many people are very unhappy with the Timo Werner selection. I see it absolutely everywhere. People are going ballistic right now. But to Drew's point, like I said, I think he makes a good point. Rather put the pressure on them, go out there and deliver right now, which is huge pressure for them. Try and get the job done early, and then bring them into an environment where there is no pressure and they can go out and really sort of showcase their abilities. Because I do take what Drew was saying to a degree, Absolute Bore. If you bring in a Werner, say even if Olasesi started today, Does he play it safe when you need players to take risks going forward to break them down? Whereas when you're already got in the win and you've got the ascendancy, players then tend to take more risks. And I think that's maybe Drew's point. You get some of these youngsters on with 2, 3, 4-0 up, whatever it may be. They can come on and express themselves and play their natural game rather than play it a bit safe, a bit tight, a bit apprehensive. But big up, absolute bore. Really appreciate the support. But guys, Kamikaze, really appreciate it. Celery Agent, good to see you as well. We are going to end off here. I will be back for the watch along in 15, 20 minutes time. Big game against the mighty Tamworth. Let's see if we can stave off the giant killing that everyone's calling. Absolute ridiculous. I can't wait. Hopefully we can tune in, see Tottenham score goals, because at the end of the day, that's all we want, guys. We just want Tottenham to score goals and win games of football. So hopefully we see that today. And do you know what, Tony Dixon? Really appreciate the support, becoming a YouTube member. Look, we do a lot of members-only content. We do members-only previews and everything. Lots of other different things. Many people around will tell you what we do. So really appreciate it, and hopefully you enjoy yourself being a part of this community. Tony, anyone else that enjoys the channel and wants to do the same, feel free. And lastly, guys, I think NordVPN are keeping the link around here for another week or two. It's up to you guys whether you want to use it. Get yourself a deal. There's a lot of 3 p.m. blackouts and stuff like that. Well, you get it right. You get NordVPN. You buy the right subscription service. You don't have to bother with any of these blackouts and stuff like that. You can just simply sit there and watch Tottenham till your heart is content. I mean, what more do you want? Some would say it would kill you, but it makes my day. But guys, that's it. The magic of the FA Cup. Let's see if it's true or not. See you back here in 15, 20 minutes. I want to say a massive thank you to Drew, out of bed, 4 a.m. this morning to do this. I mean, if people disagree with him, I don't ever want to see them say this guy's not a Spurs fan because they disagree with his point. He is a complete Spurs fan. He's been up at 3, 4 a.m. for a lot of these. What an absolute legend. Thank you very much for your time, Drew. Really appreciate it. Dermatron as well. Absolute legend. Doesn't miss any of these. Always here. Sometimes late, but he's here for every single one. And that's the main thing. And then, guys, to all you people at home watching, tuning in, really appreciate it. Really enjoyed the conversation. Do you know what? It was good to see not pressure around the game today because comments were lighthearted. They were fun. They kept me chuckling throughout the stream. So really appreciate it. And to the people who've gone the extra mile, Dark Song G, really appreciate it, buddy. Hopefully you're keeping well. Davy Shire, really appreciate it, my man. Same to you. Brian Dempsey as well. Absolute bore. And Tony Dixon. Guys, really appreciate support. We'll see you back here very, very soon. As always, come on, you Spurs. In the big hands we trust. We never stop, baby.
Big up, lads. Smash the like.
Yeah, smash the like.